Hey, what's up, everybody? As you know, my nanny is sick, and I'm home with the baby, actually. So he's looking at me right now. You might have to ignore his toys, and if he does cry out, um, but there are no days off in AP World because, especially this year, they've made the test 1 week sooner. And today's notes are actually some of the most important. I lied to you earlier in the year when I said Columbian exchange was the most important term. Yeah, I could write a nice little butt thesis where I'd say, it's a slightly big deal because Europeans in America, all that stuff. But industrial revolution is what I would slide up. It is just the maybe the biggest thing. So you must ball out. I expect you to take notes here, and just like if I was in person, we got to do it. So here we go. Oh yeah, let's a few little things. Get your papers ready. You might have to pause the video. 5.3. And 5.5, we're actually putting those two together and call it, this is for your bucket, big question bucket, call it IR, Industrial Revolution, obviously, IR, Intro and Tech. So we're going to introduce it and do a little bit of technology. All right, here we go. We'll do this stuff later together. I do want to make sure we review nationalism, but we'll get to that later. Some context. All right. I always start with this question. You prefer to have something made by hand or made by machine? If you want the true full experience here, pause it, think about it for a second, because these yellow slides are designed to make this stuff stick into your brain. The reason I ask that question is because the IR, one of the biggest things here is that it's made by machines. All right, the transition, that's a change. You might want to pause it and write that down on your other sheet. So I have a little first drawing I want to make here. Let me see if I can show you. Let me come back to this. Draw a little factory, write IR on it, and I want you to put a bulleted list under that of these three things: factories, mass production, machines. If I had to boil it down, if I had to define it, if I had to flex on an SAQ, in an essay somewhere, if I mention IR, those are going to be some nuggets of info you want to throw out there to flex. Next thing I want you to do, it's so critical to know that it starts in Great Britain, late 1700s. So let's draw a little house as the home of it and put GB late 1700s. I'm having to go fast here, so ignore mine. Great Britain, late 1700s. But I do want you to know the heart of it. When you think Industrial Revolution for the rest of the year, it is 1800s. Let's go ahead and put 19th century as well, just so nobody gets confused. 1800s, 19th century, that is just the IR golden age. Got to know it, got to have it. We're in period 3, baby, 1750 to 1900. It does spill into period 4 some, but this is the golden age. All right, let's get back to it. Take a second, look at those pictures. What do you notice? Bam, chicken or the egg situation here. The IR is going to lead to big, crowded, dirty cities, and big, crowded, dirty cities are going to help fuel the IR. We'll see in a second why. Take a second for agriculture. All right, what's the relationship with agriculture? Well, for one, you can pause it and get a change. Part of the IR is the transition from focusing on agricultural production. Everybody in the world, you got to eat. I don't care if it's Song China, Champa rice, all that. People are focusing on feeding themselves mainly. But now, boom, we're going to have a transition from agricultural focus to working in factories and stuff. All right. How is that possible? Now, here's your cause and effect. For one, it's like, once again, there's lots of chicken and the egg stuff here. They're going to invent new machines that are going to make food production more efficient. So you need less people. These people have nowhere to go. Level 5 people might want to look into the enclosure movement in England specifically. Rich people started closing off land, and these people have nowhere to go. It's not like the old days where the lords needed you to work. And so where are they going to go? Bam, cities. Where are they going to get people to work in the factories? Cities, boom. All right, so you need to know a couple A couple things dealing with food here. One machine that makes food work better is the seed drill. I like that one. Let me try to act it out, get on video here. Instead of having some, disgruntled peasants that are out like, planting seeds, I don't care, put one there, put one there. If you look on the back of seed packets, like at Lowe's or Home Depot, you'll see they have very specific directions, like ½ inch of dirt this time of year. And so the seed drill is a very simple machine that just bloop, 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 puts it in the same place, the correct place every time. The drill doesn't get tired. The drill doesn't have emotions. The drill's not mad at the boss. And so the seed drill is one of my favorite ones to remember of a machine that makes agricultural more efficient. Now, it's up to you to look at others for quiz purposes and everything else, but I like pointing out seed drill. I would like to see you write this equation, just the orange words, on your colored paper. New innovations, make sure you know at least one. Seed drill's a good one. Plus, what's up, baby? Plus, new food from the Americas. Boom, there's your Columbian Exchange. Know at least one example of that. Potatoes in Ireland, corn, those are big ones. Equals population boom and urbanization, baby. And that food is more than just going to Europe. Like, if you've ever been to a Chinese restaurant, they have those little corns that are so delicious. And think about where corn's from. That's from the Americas. All right, let's keep it going. I love this picture. It makes me sad we're not going to be able to do it in person. Take a good look. If I were you and you want the full experience, pause it. Think about what's similar, what's different. I'll go ahead with it. The one on the left is obviously feels a little more homey, a little more small scale. There's even a freaking dog there. But it does have machines. I would say that's a similarity. And so now we need to start on your red paper or your colored paper, whatever year it is. We need to start one of our little timelines with the arrows in between it. That first thing, one of the first earliest forms is called cottage industry. Cottage is just another word for like house. You think of it in like fairy tales, like, oh, the big bad wolf and Little Red Riding Hood, then the cottage. So draw a little house and write cottage industries. I don't have much space, so you're going to have to do a little bigger. I expect to see these on note check day. Cottage industry. All right. Then they realize, I'll just go ahead and do this, and we can look at the words and pictures later. Like, you know what? And why do they do this? What's different here is used to, you only owned a little bit of, a few, like one or two items of clothing. Your grandma probably made it. What these cottage industries are is maybe a couple grandmas get together and make 30 pieces of clothes and sell some for some extra cash. So we got machines. You saw the little loom or whatever. We got a little more mass production, but not quite. So we're getting there. All right, what happens next? They realize water is very strong. When you're driving, some of y'all are going to turn 16 soon, 1 foot of water can pick a car up of moving water. So never drive through water where you can't see the bottom. And so let's draw a factory with no smokestacks and a water wheel beside of it. And draw a little river. See my picture? Draw a water wheel on a river. So they can use this to make things. Another key word here is textiles. Textiles is what drives the IR. I don't know why. Textiles are just clothes and cloth. I don't know why everybody went so crazy over that, but they did, and that's what's going to drive it. Natural resource, cotton, we're going to see that. But draw a little water wheel, all right? Problem here, you could probably guess it, is they have to be built next to water. So where is our next development? Somebody realizes you can bring the water to the factory and make power. So I want you to draw this and write steam engine. Steam engine is a massive invention of the IR. Got to know it. It's going to be factories, transportation. If you don't know how steam works, you put water into like a big metal barrel, heat it up. It wants to go somewhere. You put a little hole, and all that power can press, and now you can use that power to turn machines or what have you. Instead of having to be built on the water, you can bring the water to you. You don't need as much water. So that's enough for now, but leave space because I think we might add something to that. Oh yeah, we are going to add something to that later. By the way, beside of your little factory, what's one of the early sources of fuel? Another reason why Great Britain is an early leader, they have lots of coal. Draw a little pile of coal, and don't forget to label that as steam power or steam engine, all right? Massive. You got to know the change here. Factories can be built anywhere. All right, let's keep it going, baby. What's sad to me is I have this cotton that I actually gathered myself from the side of the road on the way to the beach, and we touch it, we feel the seeds. I want you to feel how the seeds are in there, and it'd be annoying to pick those out. And so, a great example of an early Industrial Revolution machine is the cotton gin. It basically just combs the seeds out. Maybe I'll let you play with it when I get back to school. The way my pneumatic device, Eli Whitney, is the guy that invents that. Look when he invents it, all right? Late 1700s, we're getting there. This is early. I make you write Eli Whitney. He's a famous dude. You can flex. You don't have to know him, but it's always good to have as many flexes as you can. Underline the EW. Hold on, let me give him a passy. Underline the EW. Here's your passy, baby. Look. Take that. Yeah. And it's one of the few things we actually touch in class, cotton. And so I'm always like, ooh, we touched it. Underline the EW. He has an even more famous invention, arguably two of the most famous inventions of all time. This one seems simple, but it's revolutionary. Interchangeable parts. Look at this picture. Used to, like, craftsmen, Middle Ages, high Middle Ages, you have this guy who makes the whole gun one at a time or makes the whole whatever. Now it's like, let's mass produce interchangeable parts. Now we can make more of them. We can replace them. There's just more. Mass production, machine power. These are all things with the Industrial Revolution. Assembly line, that'll be part of it. We'll get to that later on. I want you to stop and think about mass production. What are some pros and cons? What are some effects? You're going to have a lot of the same things. There's more precision with machines, but everything's also the same. Sometimes people want a painting that has a little mistake or has a little personality. All right, let's move into the causes of the Industrial Revolution. Why England? 4 factors of production. I remember it as the whole point here is to sell stuff and make stuff. So for sale, as in FORSALE. But then I have people write beside of it. I want to see this on your paper. Write for sale like that, but then put 4, like the number 4, and then sell like science class. Capital, you need money, machines. You got to do it. England had a lot of this. Entrepreneurs, you got to have people willing to take risks. And they've had people make money from, period 2 and stuff. Land, that goes with resources as well. And they have lots of coal, water, all that good stuff. And then labor, you need people to work. That ties back into what we said earlier. Why are they there? Poor people moving to cities because the farms are more efficient and they're closing people out. Here's some more detailed ones. All right. Now, if we were in class, I would have you stop and determine the spiced tea. Try to know. I would add some of these to your spiced tea. Try to know some even causes and effects. Try to know, spread it out, baby. Diversify. Get a few causes of why Britain led the IR from each spiced tea. All right. We're halfway done. Let's look at technology. Look at these years. We're going to see later on where it spreads from England to other places, and the U.S. is one of the earlier ones. Look at these railroad maps. I bet you guessed it. How do early railroads work? Steam engine. So railroads are going to be just like a great visual of early IR. Let's put it on water. Steam ships. If you had to flex and juice and press in step 3 of an SAQ, why are these significant inventions? Because you don't have to wait on wind anymore. Even with the Latin cell, it was still annoying. Like, it worked better when you had the wind, the trade winds. Now it's just like, hey, screw you, Mother Earth. We're going straight to England right now in the water. Bam, let's get it all day, all night. You can go up rivers. Used to, people just mainly went down and then walked back up. Other good, have you ever seen this? Morse code, man, that's going to revolutionize communication. More great early IR tech. Instant communication. Please write that down as a change on your sheet. Oh my gosh. Is there anything more amazing than that? Used to, you literally had to physically take a letter to someone. Now, using electricity, it can almost instantaneously go across hundreds, thousands of miles. Beep, 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 beep. And they had a little code. People were used to listening to that. Morse code, telegraph. Got to know it. Here's a few others. I have a few mnemonic devices for you. Write this on your red paper. Bellaphone, Alexander Graham Bell. That's just for flex purposes. Here's a big one. Steel for these ships. And then later on, there's going to be skyscrapers and stuff. Bessemer, best steel maker. If you've ever seen, here it is right here, the end of like Terminator 2, where the guy like falls in the big vat of lava. Rah! Like, that's kind of like that. They figured out a way to make steel mass produced. All right, and then later I'll help you in class. There's actually what historians call 2 hours. Remember, nothing in our class is black and white. Nobody blew a horn and went, today is the second IR. Nobody did that. But people start to look at the end of the 1800s and it's like, I kind of see some different things. There's going to be like motors, electricity, kind of a switch from mainly coal to also oil. You're going to get automobiles, skyscrapers. They call it the heavy hour. It's much heavier, metal, tall buildings, massive ships. The first hour is more like textiles, cotton production, making shirts and clothes and all that. I don't know. Once again, I don't know why that made everybody go so crazy, but it did. And the second hour is like heavier steel beams. All right. Better technology, even like telephones as opposed to telegraph. Remember, people that get 4s and 5s are Jedi lubricators. You can lubricate this whole germ thing as interactions with the environment or innovations. People are going to start to figure it out. Louis Pasteur making milk healthier, pasteurization. I think we did it, baby. If I were you, I'd pause it, steal some of these for your sheets. We'll do our skills later. All right, bam. Have a good one, everybody.